Yes. Okay. Good evening, night, good night. So, okay. Testing 1 2 test 1 2. Masih testing 1 2 test. Wait lah. Okay, testing 1 2 test 1 2. Masih testing 1 2 test. Okay, seems good enough. Music shouldn't be too loud. Okay, it can be a bit softer. Okay, there we go. So today will be the continuation of me explaining paper 2 of the MYE for math. The MYE for math for secondary 5, so for form 5. So last stream I stopped at question 11, so today we will continue from question 12 onwards. Okay, so let's just go straight ahead. So let's just go straight into it. So over here for question 12, it gives you a diagram that shows you the point 2, 4 and then a straight line y equals to 1 drawn on a plane, and then it gives you 3 transformations. So in this case, you are expected to find the image of the point 2, 4 after going through the corresponding transformations. Yeah. So okay, let me just move this a bit. Yeah, last time we stopped at 11, so let's go 12. So Q12, we basically have Q4. So to be honest, you don't really have to look at the graph per se, so you can do this. This is part 1. So T is a translation to -3, so 2 is your top number, is your how you move left right will be your x, your bottom number is your y, so you move top bottom. So the idea is that if you have left, if you are going to the right, you are positive, left is negative, up is positive, bottom is negative, like this. Okay, so based on this, we know that 2 on the top means that we move to the right 2 boxes, and then -3 to the bottom, to the -3 means at the bottom means we move 3 units downward to down to in that direction. So in this case, what you can actually do is to just take your original point, the object, the point of concern, your starting point, you add it with your translation. So in this case, what you're supposed to have is that your image is equal to 2 plus 2, and then your y will be 4 minus 3. So you actually look like this. You just add your starting point with the how much translation is going through, how much it moves. Yeah. So in this case, you will get this to be equal to 4, 1, then this will be an answer. So this will give you 1 mark. Okay. Next, we have 2. For 2p transformation p, we are using in, and this is a reflection on the straight line y equals to 1. So you can basically agak-agak it. your 2 4 will let's say your 2 4 is over here, so this is 2 comma 4, 2 comma 4. Then your y equals to 1, let's say it's about over here for example. So you want to, okay, y equals to 1 mean, so y equals to 1 refers to the line where y equals to 1. Let me just be a bit more direct. Okay, let's say this is your y-axis. Hey, this is your x-axis. This is your y. So if this is a 1, your line y equals to 1 is a horizontal line that passes through the point y equals to 1, and it will be parallel to your x-axis. So y equals to 1, the line will look like this, which should pass through the point y equals to 1. And assuming that 2 comma 4 lands about here, for example. Okay, 2 comma 4. So what you have in this case is that you want to reflect. So this means if your point is originally here, you will make it appear on the other side, so they say it's about there. But where should it exactly be? You want to measure the distance and duplicate it over. So 2 comma 4, you measure the distance with this y equals to 1 line. This is your y, your vertical distance. So your 2 is your x, it doesn't matter. You look at your 4. 4 to 1 is 3 steps. And so you duplicate this over from your line to your image, your resulting reflected image should be 3 steps as well. So you just take, so you got 3 by taking 4 minus 1. So in this case, you just take 1 to minus 3. So 1 minus 3, you get negative 2. Therefore, this point over here, it will be 2, negative 2, like this. You flip over, so 4 to 1 is 3 units. So from 1, you move 3 more downwards, because you move downwards in this case. You move downwards. So 1, you minus up 3, you get negative 2. Therefore, you will land, the point that the image would land where your y, at the point where your y is equal to negative 2. And since you are only reflecting, you are only moving downwards, you are not moving left and right, therefore your x doesn't change, so it will remain as 2. It will remain as 2. Therefore, your x doesn't change 2, and then your y is called negative 2, 2 comma negative 2. So this will be your answer. So your I in this case is equal to 2 comma negative 2. This will give you 1 mark. Okay. Lastly, we have sub-question 3. So R, it wants you to use R. R in this case is a clockwise rotation of 90 degrees about the center of 2 comma 2. Okay. So this is our point. I'll put it here. This is our point 2 comma 4. We want to reflect it at the point 2. We want to reflect it with the center 2 comma 2. So let me draw a back dot over here. This is 2 comma 2. I move 2 units down. Okay, 2 boxes. Then you want to rotate it clockwise. So clockwise should be this direction, and you want to rotate 90 degrees. So it basically goes from here to here. So where would it land? You want to draw a line connecting from your center to the point of concern, to your original object in this case. Let me change to pink and draw a line like this. Okay. So if you rotate your point, you will rotate the line. If you rotate the line, you basically just make it turn. In this case, from the center to your point, your line is going outwards, and therefore if you rotate in this direction, you make it go from outwards, you rotate it, so you go to the left, so you go to the right instead. In this case, after you rotate it, you will go to the right, so it will be over here. And since it's just rotation, it's not enlargement or anything else, the distance, the length of the line will not change. So in this case, if it's originally 2 units like this, 1 and 2, you can count directly. If you rotate it over, you still get 2 units directly. So you still see 2 units. Therefore, your point would land over here like this. So how much is this? Since this pink one, your new image and your center is on the same horizontal line, your y doesn't change. Therefore, your y is 2. For your x, you move from your center to the pink colored image 2 steps to the right, so 1 box 2 box. Therefore 2 plus 2 is 4. You get 4 comma 2. Therefore your image in this case will be equal to 4 comma 2. Nothing else you need to do. This will be the answer. You get 1 mark. Yeah, so to be honest, if you have a grid, you can, if the question gives you a grid, then obviously you can draw on it. But if the question does not give you any grid, then you might want to visualize it and just sketch it out something akin to this. I'm obviously have some help over here because I have my grid. But if you don't have any, just make sure that you know what is actually happening on the graph itself. Yeah. Okay, so that's the first page. So this is part A. Then we have part B as well. So part B. For part B, we have 3 quadrilaterals: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, J, K, L, H. Okay, give me a moment. Okay, back in business. Okay, so your part B, you have 3 quadrilaterals: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, K, L, H, and then it gives you that E, F, G, H is the image of A, B, C, D. Under one single transformation V, J, K, L, H is the image of E, F, G, H under one single transformation W. So I'll ask you to describe the transformations V and W. Okay, so let's take a look at this. It's easy to draw it out. So let me just draw it on a smaller scale so that okay, let's first look at A, B, C, D and E, F, G, H. This is A, B, C, D. This is E, F, G, H. Okay, so you want to go from here to here. To determine what it is, you only have 4 possible options: translation, where you move; rotation, where you spin; reflection, where you mirror; and enlargement, where your size changes. Okay, so in this case, if you look at the order of the letters, your A, B, C, D it goes in counterclockwise. Your E, F, G, H also goes in counterclockwise like this. And since both of these two things go in counterclockwise, we say that the order of the letters remain consistent. So if the order of letters remain consistent, remain the same across your object and your image, it has definitely went through rotation. because rotation only spins your shape, but it will not change the order of the letters. If you reflect it, then the order of letters will be reflected as well. So originally it's counterclockwise. If you reflect it, it will become clockwise. So this is a way that you can use to talk about whether it's rotation or reflection. Because in this case, translation is impossible, enlargement is also impossible. So it's either rotation or reflection. In this case, your order of letters remain remain unchanged, so it would be rotation. Okay, so since we now know it's rotation, we can first write your V is a rotation. Okay, so how much did it rotate? So we want to see where our points landed up on. If you spin, you will be able to see it's actually 90 degrees. It's actually 180. So if you turn your paper, if you turn this around, you will get this shape over here. If you turn it around, you will get this shape. Okay, so it will look like this. Yeah. And then if you turn it one more 90 degree, you will get this shape over here. So this means that it's not 90, it's actually 180 degrees. So in this case, you don't have to write clockwise or anti-clockwise, because 180 in either direction is still the same. So we can write rotation of 180 degrees. So now we know the angle. We now know its rotation. We also know the angle. We want to talk about the center. So about the center, what coordinate? Okay. So based on the image over here, and according to the grid that I have, you basically want to connect your points, your corresponding points. Okay. In this case, your point donkey, it corresponds to point H, because when you spin it like this, when you spin it like this, your shortest line, your DC, still retains its GH over here. It's just that it's flipped over. Therefore, your donkey corresponds to your H. So let me draw a line over here. This color. Your donkey corresponds to a H. Your C corresponds to your G. Then your B will be F, A will be E, but in this case 2 lines are enough, you get the crossing point. So in the case of, let me draw it better, let me use a straight line. In the case of here. In the case of 180 degrees like this, you will most likely get the crisscross no matter what, and therefore your center would be lying on the intersection of these 2 lines. So this particular point, back to freehand, this particular point over here is your center of rotation. Yeah. If it's 90 degrees, then it's maybe more involved, but in this case it's 180, so you just need to do that basically. Okay, so this point will be your center of your rotation. So if you read your graph given the question, it will be 987,6. So therefore the center of rotation is 7,6. Then this will be the whole complete answer. Rotation by itself gives you 1 mark, 180 is 1 mark, center is 1 mark, so 3 marks in total for one transformation. Next, your EFGH goes to JKLH. Okay, so same thing, let me draw them out. So this will be here, here, here. And then you have here, so it will look like this. This is your EFGH JKLH. Same thing, we know that we want to check okay, is it translatable? No, because it's not translation because the orientation of the shape has changed. Is it enlargement? Not, doesn't seem likely because the size of the shape doesn't change. So whether it's rotation or enlargement, and whether it's rotation or reflection, we want to look at the order of the letters, the sequence. E, F, G, H for our object in this case goes counterclockwise. J, K, L, H in this case also goes counterclockwise. The order of the letters remain the same, therefore it will still be rotation. So we can start our answer with W, rotation. Okay, so in this case, we know it's rotation. Let's just erase this first. We know that it's rotation. So now we want to find how much. In this case, the graph went from this configuration is lying on this line to this configuration where it's standing up. So it basically went through one single turn, so one single 90 degree from here to here. Then it went clockwise because your original 2 unit line is on the bottom, and then if your image is now on your left, so bottom goes to left is one single turn, and bottom and from here to this direction is clockwise, therefore it's one single 90 degrees clockwise. Therefore we will write clockwise, because in this case it matters whether it's clockwise or not, so we will write clockwise rotation of 90 degrees. Okay, so in this case we also want to find the center of rotation, so about the center what. Okay, in this case, since it is spinning, it is rotating from here to here, and you can try to use the trick of the last portion, which is showing lines between the corresponding points. So we can do that. We can try to do that. Your G corresponds to your L. Your F corresponds to your K. Your E corresponds to your J. This seems like we're going nowhere because all three lines don't intersect at the same point. So in this case, right, you can see that this method doesn't work. So which is the pivot point instead? Which is the pivot point? Instead, what you want to do is to look at where they are overlapping. They are overlapping at H and H over here. So the idea would be, you might be able to see the idea at this point. You first start from here, the top one, you use this as your pivot point, you spin downwards, say eraser. You spin downwards, then you get to this portion. Yeah, this portion. So we are actually using H as our pivot point over here. Now for your answer, if you have the coordinates, just write the coordinates themselves. So in this case, the coordinates for H given by the question is 9, 5. So just write a 9, 5 over here, and else you need to do, then you'll be done. So clockwise rotation 1 mark, 90 degree 1 mark, center 9, 5 is 1 mark. So that would be question 12 in its entirety. Next. Okay. Question 13, yet another transformation question. Let's look at it. Let's take a look at it. Okay. So Q13, we have diagram 10 shows the quadrilaterals ABCD, PQRS, PTUV. So part A, it gives you that transformation M is a translation, transformation N is a reflection on the line y equals to x. So in this case, we want to the object that we are concerned is point D. So we look at the graph and we see that point D is equal to coordinates 5, 3. Okay. So part 1 asks for the image after going through M. So in this case, you can just, so since M is just a translation, -4, 3, same thing as per question 12, you can just take your object and add your translation to it. So 5 minus 4, 3 plus 3. So you should be able to get your image in this case to be 1, 6. Okay. Next, we have NM. Okay. So part 2, question A part 2, we have NM. So NM, M is the second letter, means M goes first. Therefore from 5, 7, 5, 3, you go to 1, 6. So for your N, so from 5, 3, you go through transformation M, you get 1, 6. Now to go through transformation N, the reflection in the line y equals to x, it looks hard, but it actually has a special property. For all the points that go through the reflection for this line, the result is just as simple as flipping your points around. So what I'm trying to say is, so in this case, your N is the reflection in the line y equals to x. So for this one, it has a simple, it looks hard, but it actually has a simple consequence of just flipping the coordinates of your numbers, of your points. So in this case, 1, 6 going through transformation with a reflection N, this means it's transformed into 6, 1. And that's that. Nothing else you need to do. Yeah. Y equals to x is a simple case of just flipping your coordinates, so you don't really have to do it. You don't really have to do anything else. Yeah, just flip it. Okay. Yeah. So this is what you have over there. Okay. Okay. So that would be 1 mark for this, and then 2 marks for M and M. So getting 6, 1 itself is already 2 marks. Yeah. Because you go through 2 transformations, even though M is repeated in part 1. But yes, you have this. Okay, part B. Part B says PTUV is the image of ABCD under the combined transformation JK. Describe completely the transformations K and J. So JK means K goes first. And if you look at the image, how do I draw this without 2, 3, 4, 6? Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. So I'm doing this at half scale because it lets me easier have more space. Yeah. Then the point is like over here. And then 2, 1 means 1.5. So you'll be here. What? No way. 2 and 1 means, oh, okay, 1.5. So be, this is actually hard to draw. 1 and from here to here. Okay. And then the halfway point for this is roughly around here. So it should actually be on the line now. No. Okay, then just connect roughly lah. Okay, about it. So A B C D P Q R S T U V, and then the grey part is the shaded area. Okay, so K goes first. In this case, if your ABCD goes straight to PTUV, you can see that you will need to go through become PQRS first. Then only can go to become PTUV. So in this case, there is definite enlargement involved. So we usually say the enlargement will be the second one to go. So after you rotate, or reflect, then you enlarge. So in this case, your J is definitely an enlargement. We look at K first. From ABCD, how do you go to PQRS? Same thing. Translation is impossible because the orientation is flipped. Enlargement is technically impossible as well because the size doesn't change and the orientation is different. So you only have rotation and reflection left. Same technique, you want to check whether they are the orders of the letters are the same or not. ABCD is clockwise. PQRS is also clockwise. Therefore, we know that it is rotation, not reflection. So rotate by how much? In this case, if you look at the orientation of the shape, it basically only rotates 90 degrees because to get from your original A donkey, your longest line is pointing in this direction. So this is your A donkey. Then after you rotate, your PS is pointing in this direction. It looks a bit weird, but actually these two lines, they are actually one rotation out from each other. So from A donkey to PS, you only need to rotate. You only need to go from here to here in this direction, which is basically one single turn of 90 degrees anti-clockwise. So this would actually be a 90 degree if I put my PS and EQ together. Yeah, so it's actually like this. So and then it looks weird, just look at the longest line and see where it should go. So A donkey is originally from slanting up, then PS is basically just taking that, but you spin it one notch, so it will be 90 degrees. So since A donkey goes to PS in one single turn with one single 90 degree and anti-clockwise, we can basically write that. So we write that your K in this case is anti-clockwise rotation of 90 degrees. Okay, so this gives us 2 marks. And now we want to look for the center as well. So in this case, your center, we want to find it. Okay, so in this case, we want to draw lines as well. Okay, your point P is not really accurate, but just get the idea that it's supposed to land on the exact point, like over here. I'll just draw it that way lah. Okay, so again, you want to connect your corresponding points together. A would be with P. Donkey would be with S. Okay, I'll just draw a line that goes from here to here. A donkey would be with P. A would be A would be with P. So let me draw a line going through here as well. Now, this one is not as straightforward as the 180 degree one, so we actually do not know where it's supposed to be. So in this case, what you can do is instead, you can take, let me just double check. Oh, your S and your donkey are not supposed to be on the same line. Okay, no wonder it looks weird. Your S is supposed to be a bit more top. Oh, okay. No wonder I was like, I mean, technically it's supposed to be. Okay, no wonder I was like, why does it look so weird? Okay, let me move this a little bit. It's supposed to be half a unit according to my graph. Okay, there we go. This is way more accurate. So okay, there we go. Okay, so you want to draw lines. Your donkey pairs with S, your A pairs with P. Yeah, so it looks weird. So what you want to do in this case is you want to be able to draw perpendicular lines that go through, because it's very hard to guess the center without drawing any connecting lines. So in terms of finding the rotation center, this is actually quite involved. So in this case, you want to be able to draw perpendicular bisector lines throughout these points, throughout these lines. So in terms of your S donkey, it will be a 3 times 1. So you can adduct it and find a 1 times 3 portion. So let me just enlarge it and talk about what I mean. I'll put it like over here. Your S to donkey line is a 3 by 1 box like this. This is your S, this is your donkey. So to find your perpendicular bisector of your S donkey, in order to find the center of rotation, what you want to draw is, you want to rotate this in the center box over here. So you rotate it this side, or either way, you rotate it either way. You will get from a 3 by 1 box. You get from a 3 by 1 box to a 1 by 3 box. So you just rotate it this way. Okay, either way. So your new line will actually be landing over here. So it will be looking like this from here to here. Okay, so you get this one, then you just extend this line. You extend. Okay, same goes for your AP. Your AP in this case happens to be a 4 by 2. AP is 1 by 3. You turn 3 by 1. Your AP happens to be a 4 by 2. Let me just move this downwards so that I have more space to write. I have more space to draw. Okay, so your P is actually over here. This is your P, and then your A is actually over here. So AP connecting a line will be like this. Then your perpendicular bisector would be flipping this through. So your original 4, 2, you flip in the middle, it becomes a 2, 4 like this. To actually get this particular line over here. Okay, then you can see that these two perpendicular bisectors, I draw it in the same color. These two perpendicular bisectors, they actually intersect at a certain point and extend it a little bit. So you should get this. Okay, let me just use the line tool. Yeah, so you should be able to get something like this. Okay, so in this case, the intersection of your two perpendicular bisectors is this point over here. Right? Your intersection of your two perpendicular bisectors is this point over here. So just read the coordinate, and therefore this would definitely be the coordinates for this will definitely be your rotation center. We talk about, you can find it this way. As for why this works, you can imagine it as your points over here, your point, your rotation center. If you draw your lines towards your points, and you turn the entire thing, you draw lines to your points, and you turn the entire thing around. Yeah, that basically this means that you're rotating it directly, right? And then since you're rotating directly, the lines that you form would be your perpendicular lines over here, like this and like this. So yeah, this is how it works. Anyway, the rotation center you should get is the intersection point of these two perpendicular bisectors over here, and therefore it would be the point 3,4. Okay. So now we know that your K is the anti-clockwise rotation of 90 degrees about the center 3,4. Okay, so we get this. Okay, next is J. J is your enlargement. So in this case, you want to measure how much the lines increase. So because you want to find the scale factor. So your J, you start with the word enlargement with the scale factor, okay, of something. So we want to find the scale factor. To find the scale factor, you want to take the length of your new line and then divide it by the corresponding length of your old line. Standard lines are very hard to calculate because they require particulars. You can guesstimate obviously, but you don't really have to. You can just take some easier lines that you can. So in this case, your SR, after you spin over, your SR is a horizontal line, it has 2 units, and then the corresponding enlarged version, it will be your VU, which is 4 units. Therefore, your K in this case, this equals to the length of your VU dividing the length of your SR, so it will be 4 over 2, therefore you get 2 over here. So that means your scale factor is actually 2 in this case. Then we also still have to find the enlargement center. So for enlargement, you want to draw lines from between the corresponding points and see where they converge. It's technically the same idea as reflection. It's just that it's technically the same idea as rotation, just that rotation is more involved because you have to draw perpendicular bisectors. But for enlargement, just connect your points, pair of points together. So in this case, it is very conveniently placed that if you compare the two images, if you compare the two shapes PQRS and PTUV, you can observe, you might already see that P is overlapping for both shapes, and therefore P would correspond to P connects to P itself. Therefore, the enlargement center and the center of enlargement is just P directly. Therefore, the center enlargement will be P, because you start from the small shape, you enlarge and become the big shape. You just enlarge in the same direction over here, and everything happens to enlarge from the point P over here. Therefore, you can just do that. So you can just enlarge from there. Since you just enlarge from there, and your image object overlaps at that single point would be your enlargement center. So it's P in this case. The coordinates of P happen to be 6, 3, so just write 6, 3, and that will be done. Yeah. So in this case, the same marking scheme as per Q12, anti-clockwise rotation 1, and T1 center 1, enlargement 1, scale factor 2, 1 center 1. So a total of 6 marks. Okay, lastly we have part C. Part C, it says given the shaded region QTU VSR. So this grey shaded region that I have over here represents the region with an area of 78 cm square. calculate the area of the region represented by PQRS. So the large shaded area over here is 78. So in this case, since from PQRS to PTUV, the scale factor is 2. If I talk about the area, of PQRS and the area of PTUV, the area of your object and the area of your image, it is actually multiplied by, has a multiplier of not k, but not by k, but k squared. Yeah, it's actually multiplied by k squared. PQRS multiplied by k squared equals to PTUV because you enlarge. So you enlarge, the length is k, the enlarged area is k squared because two-dimensional stuff, because it's two-dimensional. So you enlarge it, you get k squared, therefore you rearrange it lah. But in this case, you don't have PQRS, you want to find PQRS. You know that PTUV is PQRS plus the shaded region. The shaded region happens to be 78. You know that. Therefore, the following, the steps will be as follows. Let area of PQRS be equal to x. So x times k in this case is 2, so 2 squared equals to 78 plus x. 2 squared is 4. 4x equals to 78 plus x. X you bring over to the other side. 4x minus x is 3x. 3x equals to 78. And then you just bring your 3 over to the right. So x equals to 78 over 3. Therefore, this you will get 26 for this. Don't forget the unit. Unit is cm squared. Double check. Yeah, this will be the answer. 3 marks marking scheme says writing this gives you 1, writing this gives you 1, answer gives you 1. Yep, so we basically have that. Okay, that will be question 13 done and dusted. Next. Okay, question 14. Question 14, most of, I believe, the ones that managed to do it got it correctly. This is just the usage of the formulas, although it might be hard to some. So in this case, Q14, you know that this is the data that you have. The data set shows the scores obtained by students increase. So you want to ask you to find the range, interquartile range, variance and standard deviation. No matter what, okay, if you see it say it asks you to find quartile or like median or like something else, you want to arrange your numbers in ascending order no matter what. So in this case, we arrange first. So it'll be 1, 3, 5, 5, 8, 8, 9, 27. Okay, so we have 8 numbers in total over here. Okay, so part A, we want to find the range. The range in this case is just taking your largest to minus your smallest. So 27, you minus 1, you get 26. Okay, 1 mark. Next, part B, you want to find the interquartile range. So the interquartile range IQR over here is equal to, your IQR over here is equal to Q3 minus Q1, where your quartiles refer to where your data is split into portions. Okay, I'll just do it over here. Let me recopy the data set. Okay. Q1, Q2, Q3 split at the 25%, 50% and 75% respectively. Q2 means Q2 is your median. Q2 is your median. This means it is will be split in half directly. 8 numbers divided by 2 means to split it into 4 and 4. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4, split in the middle. This will be your median. So your median in this case is 8 plus 5 divided by 2. But since we don't need it in this case for IQR, we can just leave it alone. Your Q1 is the is the midpoint of your first half. Your first half has 4 numbers. It's an even number, so you want to split it in the middle of 2 numbers, because 4 it can be split into 2 and 2. So 1, 2 split. This is your Q1. Okay, so what is your Q1? Your Q1 in this case is equal to 3 plus 5 divided by 2, you get 4. Your Q3 is the midpoint, is the midway point of your second half. So sending 4 numbers, 4 split into 2 and 2, so 1, 2 split, then you get Q3 in this case. So your Q3 will be the middle of 8 and 9, so 8 plus 9 divided by 2, you get 4.5. Okay. Okay. So this will be your Q3 and 8.5, so 8.5. So this will Q3 and Q1. Then at the end, your interquartile range IQR is Q2 minus Q1, so take 8.5 and minus 4, you will get 4.5. The marks for this are quite generous. Q1 1 mark, Q3 1 mark, IQR itself, the calculation 1 mark, 4.5 answer 1 mark, so total of 4 marks actually. Yeah. So this is your IQR. Okay. Yeah. Let me periodically check the volume of the stream. Okay, good. Yeah, it is quite clear. And the music isn't too loud, so it's great. Okay, back to business. So in this case, yeah. So IQR is done. Next, moving on to C. Part C is variance. So in this case, for variance, you just want to directly use the formula. So the formula for your variance is given as sigma square equals to the sum of squares dividing by the total number of things you have, minus out the mean square. Okay, yeah. So you have your individual 8 numbers. So in this case, your sum of squares will just be 1 square plus 3 square plus 5 square. Just write out all of them basically. There is no shortcut to this. Please do not use ... Please do not use ellipsis. And then divide by the total amount of things. So this will be 8. Then you want to minus out your mean. So your mean would be 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 5. And then you just add all the numbers together. And then you divide by the total number of things. Then this is your mean. Then you square it. Okay, so it will actually look like this. You put this in your calculator, you should be able to get your top one is 998, and then you divide by 8 minus out 8.25 square. After go through your calculation, you should be able to get your answer to be 56.69. So this will be your variance sigma square. Mark distribution, this gives you 1, this gives you 1, answer gives you 1, a total of 3. Okay. Lastly, calculate what's the standard deviation. So your standard deviation is sigma by itself, which is effectively the square root of your variance. Therefore, just plug in your value into the square root and put it into the calculator. You will be able to get 7.529. So total of 2 marks for this one. So this one. If you get any differences in the decimal points, it will be fine, unless you are actually wrong. If it's only calculation like if it's only a difference between how many decimal points you take, it's totally fine. Yeah. as long as you are sure, you are confident that your workings are correct, then you'll be fine no matter what. Yeah. So that will be Q14. Okay, Q15. Q15, this is the linear law type of question. So you want to plot the graph, basically. Okay, let me save this one first. Okay, firstly, it asks you to complete table 2 for the equation in the answer space for the equation y equals to x cubed minus 8x plus 5 by writing down the values of y when x equals to -2, 1 and 3. This one, there's no argument. There's no argument on how to do this. Just sub in your numbers. You should be able to get x when x equals to -2, y is 13. This is 1 mark. Just put 13 into a table. Then let me just write it out. This is your x, your y. If it's -2, you get 13. If it's 1, you get -2. If it's 3, you get 8. Okay. Yeah. So this is the 3 points that are empty and it's supposed for you to find. So this should be 1, 1 and 1, total of 3. Yeah. B. By using a scale of 2 to 1 on the x-axis and 2 to 5 on the y-axis, draw a graph of y equals to x cubed minus 8x plus 5 for the range of -3 for x from -3 to 4. I will draw it out in its entirety, but I don't have enough space, so let me extend the canvas a bit. Well, I will need to go to another page anyway, but it's fine. We can extend the canvas. It doesn't matter that. It doesn't really matter. Canvas size. Bring this. Bring this. Press OK. Okay, I definitely have enough space now. Okay, so 2 to 1 on the x means that from -3 to 4. Wait, let me determine my y first. My smallest number is -3, my largest number is 37. So I would need 1 box at the bottom and 8 boxes at the top. So because 5 times 8 is 40. So I will need 8 boxes at the top, so a total of 9 boxes. And then -3, -2, -1, 0. So my line will be starting from here. This is my y. So this should be 40, 35. Wait. Let me draw the line first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 passes through 0. 1 at the bottom, extend. Then -3, -2, -1, 0. So start from here. Let me just use a line. -3, -2, -1, 0. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop. So this is your x, so this is your 0 over here. Okay, let me add another layer so I don't erase the line. Okay. So let me use this layer first. So in this case, this is 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Okay. Okay. Then 0 is here, this should be -5. Then for your x, it's 2 cm to 1 unit, so one box is 1 unit. -3, -2, -1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. After this, you want to put down your points. So your points in this case would be as per follows. -3, 2. So 1, 2, where are 6, 7, 8? Yeah, correct. -3, 2 here. Negative 2, 13. Negative 2, 13 will be here. Negative 1, 12 will be here. 0, 5 here. 1, negative 2 here. 2, negative 3. 2, negative 3 here. 3, 8 here. 3.5, 19.9, so 3.5, you get 20 basically. So here, it's okay to cross in the middle. 4 of 37, you get this point. Okay, let me shift to the other layer. Now we draw. Okay. So you start from negative 3, this point, up, down, down, and then curve back up. It looks weird. Let's try that again. Well, in the case of your paper, you basically just erase over and over until you get like the right curve. Okay, this is good enough. Switching back to the first layer. Yeah, so this is good enough. So this is how you draw a curve. Okay, so a curve will look like this. 4 marks. The way we mark this is your axis itself. Your points. Your axis itself is 1 mark. Yeah. So the axis and scale label correctly is 1 mark. So axis is 1. And your points get 2 marks. So your first 4 points over here, the left to your y-axis gets 1. And then your right hand and then your right side, the other half of your points gets 1 mark as well. All correct, you get 2 marks. The curve itself, if it's straight, if it's curved enough, it passes through the points that it needs to pass. If you use freehand, then you get 1. If you use ruler, you don't get any. You don't get marks for the curve. Yeah, it's supposed to be a freehand curve because it's x cubed. It's a curve. Okay. Yeah. So next. Okay, so this is B. Then part C, it says from the graph, find the value of y when x equals to negative 1 or 1.4. So this one is purple. The value of y when x equals to negative 1.4. Negative 1.4 is over here. So just take this point, dotted line up, and then dotted line dun, until there. Over here I got 13. You should be able to get 13.5 if you draw it correctly. The range of acceptance is plus minus 0.5, so plus minus 1 gap. Yeah, it's basically plus minus 1 gap, or it's plus minus 1 box, 1 small box. So it will be top 1 and bottom 1. So plus minus 1 box, which is 0.5. So plus minus 0.5. I get 13 over here. So if you get 13.5 or somewhere around that, then you'll be correct. How we mark this is also that if you happen to have the wrong graph but you got the correct answer from the graph, we usually advocate for giving you the mark anyway because you use the correct method to find the number even though it's technically wrong. Okay, next, the value of x when y equals to 25. So 25 is over here, again dot to the graph. Y is over here, so you just dot to the graph and bring it down to find x. So bring it down to find x, you should be able to get, due to the graph I drew, I got 3.6. The answer is 3.7, but again, plus minus 1 small box, so in this case it's plus minus 0.1. 1 small box is 0.1. So in this case, it is plus minus 0.1. Okay. So in this case, you get 13 and 3.6. The exact answers are 13.5 and 3.7. Again, if you fall between 1 box, it is fine. Okay. So that will be that. Nothing else. Then that will be Q15. Okay. Q16 is a bit involved because it is rough drawing. Most of you chose Q16. I don't think anyone chose 17 because 16 is drawing. 16 is drawing. Although the conditions that it give are actually kinda hard, not gonna lie. Okay, we will need a new page for this. Let me page no Sika. Oh yeah, it added a video. Okay, give me a moment. Let me just page yes, canvas size no henko and oh, stop. Okay, so yeah, so there's that lah. Okay, moving on to 16. 16 is a bit more involved. You are required to like literally just sketch everything lah. Okay, let me just zoom in to 100 and we can talk about it. Okay, 16 part A asks you to draw in full scale two things. Like question 1, you want to draw the elevation of the stationary holder on the vertical plane parallel to KB as viewed from X. Everything else doesn't matter, just look at viewed from X. Viewed from X, you already have X over there in your diagram. You view from the front in this case, so from the direction for X. So from starting from the rectangle KBCL and then you'll move inwards like that. Okay, so in this case you want to measure directly lah. Okay, what are you supposed to see? You are supposed to see a rectangle. Okay, a rectangle. You're basically you're supposed to see a rectangle. You cannot see the sides because you are looking directly from there. You don't have 3D vision in this case. You imagine yourself having 2D vision only. Okay, it's flat. You cannot see depth because there is no shadows in this case. You can only see depth because there are shadows. If you remove the shadows, you literally cannot see any depth. Depth. We can only see depth because there are because the shadows exist. If I turn off all the lights, you cannot see any shadows. Therefore, you cannot tell whether the object is close to you or far to you or far away from you. Yeah. So all of these elevation things, you really assume that one, there are no shadows, so you cannot see depth. You are unable to see whether it's far away from you or close to you. Secondly, you are not supposed to see anything else other than the things directly in front of you, so you cannot see to the sides, you cannot see to the top, you cannot see from the bottom, etc. So you have only one way of vision. Okay. So part A1, you basically will be looking at a rectangle that is of height 12 cm because that's how high the half cylinder at the back is. You're not supposed to see the half circle on the cylinder because again, we have flat vision. We only have flat vision. Okay. Then let me draw the line. Okay, assuming that one box is 2, so I will draw 6 boxes. Let me use the line 2 for this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then your width is your width is how much? Your width is 6 because you have NE over there is 6 cm, and then since everything is basically uniform, they're all rectangles, so your NE and your KB are the same because your NE and JA are the same, your JA and KB are the same, so NE and KB are the same. I know it might seem I'm yapping. Please have your exam paper in hand when going through the question with me together. Yeah, you want to be able to do that. Okay, so 6 cm means I draw 3 boxes like this and here as well. Okay, you might see that I have no labeling because you actually do not need to label. If you were marked by me, and I mean yeah lah, but actually it doesn't really matter. But just remember that no labels is okay. Mr. Gandhi said so. But yeah, actually yes, according to the schema, or more like the SPM instructors, you actually don't need to label. Okay, so so basically that lah. I also only recall this fact like very recently. Anyway, that's that. So next, we want, how many portions do we have? We have 1, 2, 3 portions. So the first portion would be the top part, which is the extruding part. So GF and E. So I'll just label for clarity so that you guys know what I'm talking about. So this point, freehand. This will be GF, and then we want to label out NE as well. So that would be a 5 cm gap from the top. So you just measure one, in this case one box is 2 cm. I assume that, so 5 cm is about here. You use your ruler in real life, but yeah. So the line will go here. This will be NE, but in the same line of NE, there's also M donkey in the front. So you will use the points in front instead. I keep forgetting to change back. You use the point in front instead as well. So M donkey. The exact labeling is M/N. So you want to also look at the point at the back. So M/N, and then it will be donkey/E. So front/back, front/back. Next, you have your LC, which is also your VW. So you do not know how wide, you do not know how high is it in the middle, so it's fine. We look at the bottom. From your base KB is over here. KB, where you also share a same line, a same plane with J and A, so you have this. So from your base KB to LC at a bit up is 4 cm. So we measure 4 cm over here and draw the line directly. Okay. So this would be LC, which also share, where you also share a same plane with VW. So AWV, so L/W, C/V. So it will look like this after you complete the entire diagram. So you don't really need to label the lengths per se. You can if you want to. This will be 6, this is 5, this is 4, and then for since the entire thing is 12, this is 3. And this entire thing is 12 cm. And then other than that, it's basically it. You don't have to do anything else. Okay, Y. Part 2 asks us to draw it from Y parallel to BA, so it will be from the right direction. Okay. So this one, you want to first draw out BA as your baseline first. And then we also know that we will be able to see the half cylinder over there, because you are able to see cylinders from the side. Your bottle is round, your bottle is a cylinder, you can see a cylinder, you can see your bottle from the side, right? Yeah lah. Then it should be drawn because you can see cylinders from the sides. Yeah. Same goes to half cylinders, you can see it from the side. It's like seeing a rectangle. Yeah, if there are no shadows and you have no depth perception, it's a flat view, you would be seeing a rectangle. Just try and hold your bottle up to your face lah. Yeah. So if you ignore all that perception and you ignore all light, you ignore all shadows, it's actually a rectangle. Yeah. Okay. So you want to draw a line of length 10 cm, which will be your BA. but you also need to draw a line of length 12. So I'll start from here. This will be my BA. So 1 2 3 4 5. Again, I'm assuming that one box is 2 cm for my grid. For you, you want to draw it in full length. Then 1 2 3 4 5 6. So coming from the top like this. Okay, then you also want to have an extruding. Okay, your B over here, your baseline is BA. Your B shares the same. Your BA shares the same thing with KJ. So this will be B. This will be B slash K. This will be A slash J. Again, labels are not necessary, but I'm just labeling them out so you know where to look at. Okay, yeah. Continue. So next, you also have your BC, which is 4 cm up. So start from point B, go up 4 cm over here. So in this case, this would be your C slash L. C in front, L at the back. And then you have your dotted line. So you see CV is a dotted line. You have to draw that because it being inside doesn't mean you can't see it, but doesn't mean you can't see it, but doesn't mean it's not there. So if it's there, if you know it's there, you will need to draw it out. You need to sketch it. You need to draw it out. So in this case, you want to draw your CV that's parallel to your BA in a dotted line form, because this thing is stationary. Because this thing has it has a drawer inside for whatever reason. So yes. So this one you want it to be dotted. Let me find a dotted line for 形状. It's trying to load. Let me just give it some time. I said, yeah. So start from here and then you draw a dotted line like this. I mean, I'm using a computer so I can do this directly, but yeah lah. Okay, so you draw the dotted line like this. Then let me just change it back to solid. Yeah, okay, there we go. So this will be a dotted line, okay. And then this particular point over here. This particular point over here would be V slash W. Okay. Okay, next. You have your line DE that has a distance of 5 from the top. So this is actually the same line over here. Okay. So same thing, you measure 5 cm. Then you start from your vertical line and draw. In this case, for this one, you want to draw a line of 8 cm because you see MN over there is 8 cm, so DE will also be 8 cm. So just draw one. In this case, I draw 4 boxes. So it will be over here. So this particular point would be E slash N. This point would be D donkey slash M. And you want to connect these two lines to get these 2 points together to form a single line. So this connect to this, then that's that lah. Okay. Okay, so that is that. Yeah, so that is that. So the donkey and your C are now connected. So that's the fun part done. Next, we still have we still have to draw out the cylinder, the half cylinder. So in this case, your cylinder will be a rectangle. So how wide should a rectangle be? In this case, the width of your cylinder is actually your radius. So since your diameter in this case is 6, your radius should be 3. So you want a width of 3 cm. So 3 cm is about here. Stop. And then you do this, and then you just draw all the way to the top, and you do the same thing on the top. So 3 cm about here. Then you do it all the way from top to bottom like this. Same thing, you want to put your points. So in this case, your edge over here is actually Z. If you can see at the back over there, it's actually Z. Then on top over here is actually H. And over here it will be F then G. So F/G. So it actually looks like this in its entirety. If you want to, you can divide down the length. So this will be 3. This entire thing is 12. This one is 5. This one is 8. This one is 10. This is 4. And that will be 8 lah. Okay, so this will be a part 2. Then else you need to do, then this will be your answer. In this case, they are both 3 marks. So for me, I look at the angles as well. So you want to make sure that these are all 90 degrees whenever possible, whenever they are. So you do not want them to be like slanted. So when you draw, just be mindful of the angles and the length of your lines and whatnot. Okay. Okay, next. Part B. Diagram 1.2 shows the rectangular drawer KBC is pulled out half from the stationery holder. Draw the full scale the plan of the stationery holder. For this one, you can draw your plan however you want, which means you can actually draw it horizontally, not necessarily vertical. Yeah. But to save space, I will draw it vertically. So this will be part B. Okay, in this case, your plan refers to looking from the top, looking down from the top. Okay, looking down from the top. So how long is your entire thing now? Since your drawer is pulled out half, and the original drawer is this dotted line over here is 10 cm. You will pull out half from the stationery holder. It means half of 10, which should be 5, is exposed outside. Therefore, your new length, let me just sketch it out. From this one, okay, you pull out half of 10, so it will be 5. So 5 is actually exposed outside over here. This should be 5. Your original holder is still here, so this should be 10 and this should be 3. So therefore the entire total length is now 15 plus the circle that you have to draw. So n plus 3. But in this case, your cylinder is no longer rectangle because you're looking from the top. So if you look from the top, it will be you have a half circle, it will be a semicircle. So you will have to draw the semicircle out. So it will be 15 plus a semicircle of which is 3. Yeah. So it actually look like that. Therefore, we can start drawing. So we'll just start drawing. I'll leave some space for the circle. So I'll start over here. This will be my GF. This will be my GF. So it's 6 cm. So in this case, 6 cm, I will use 3 boxes like this, and I can make it a bit inside. Just start from here. This is 6 cm only. Okay. So this will be your GF. But in this case, because you're looking from top to bottom, the overlapping points become more. So in this case, it will be G and J because they all line on the same straight line. So this is just N/J. Same goes your F, you will now have F/E/A, which is 6 cm. So you just write the small 6 over here, 6. Okay. Then you want to draw all the way down for an entire rectangle. So in this case, it will be length of 15 because your original 10 for your holder plus your 5 which has come of your drawer which has come out half from the holder. So it will be 15 in total. 15 in total means I'll be using 7.5 boxes in my case. You will want to use the exact length obviously. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 0.5 about here. Then goes to this. Obviously I'm drawing on computer, so this is as accurate as it obviously I'm drawing on computer, so it's as accurate as it can get. For drawing on hand, yeah, just make sure that you are also as accurate as you can get. Okay, your M part over here would be your extruding portion, which will be S over here, so it will be SR. So S overlaps with P, S/P, R overlaps with O, R/O. Okay. The length from S to L, in this case, it will be half the drawer, so it's 5. So measure 5 cm and draw a line over here. Okay, wait. Wrong 2. Measure 5 cm and draw a line over here. So you will get this. Okay. So yeah, this is that. Then this will be your LC. So L overlaps with K, C overlaps with B. So this should be your 5C. This should be your 6 cm. This should be your 5 cm. Okay. Continue. You don't know how much is from LC to M donkey. It doesn't matter because we can draw the other lines first. From N to M is 8. So from G to M is 8 cm. So we find 8 cm. We find the point where it's 8 cm, and then we draw a small line. I'm on computer. Let's just capitalize that. Yeah, I mean I'm holding your shift basically. So this one, it is M and donkey. There are no overlapping points, so just themselves on their own. Okay. You also have a dotted line that you are able to see at the bottom over there. So which is basically the other half of the drawer. So it will be from L to W. So L to W will be 5 as well because it's half of 10. So from the point L, measure 5 cm. So 1, 2, 5, and then you want to draw a dotted line representing the stuff that you can't see but is there. So let me choose the same one that I did just now. Yeah, so this should be the dotted line. Okay, then this should correspond to your WV. W overlaps with T, V overlaps with U. Yeah, so we basically have this entire thing. So let's label down the points first. So I label down the length. So your MN is 8 over here. This should be 8. And then this is 5. And then that's basically it lah. Good enough for it. Lastly, we still need to draw the semicircle. We still need to draw the semicircle that we can see from the top. So it will be this portion over here. Please use compass. If you don't use compass in the exact exam, we will need to deduct you 1 mark. So in this case, I'm using a computer. Let me capitalize that. Where is the shape tool? N. So okay. Control Z. What? Yes. Wait, what? Oh, okay. It's 30. Yeah. So this and this. Okay. Let me just place one over here. Oh wait, that's a bit too big. Okay. What's wrong with my controller? Oh, interesting. Okay. No. Okay, anyway, it's harder than I thought. This is a compass. I will just freehand it. It's supposed to be, a bit smaller. It's supposed to look like this. This is as much as I can get it to look good in freehand. Okay, this is as much as I can. So it will look like this, one color, but it's okay. It should look like this. So this will be your plan, and nothing else you need to do. This is the answer. Okay, done now. This is 3 cm by the way. It's supposed to be 3 cm no matter what. So this part is 3 cm. Okay. What is? Oh. I hope the music is not too distracting. Okay, continue. Okay, the stream is still going on. Good. We have now reached 1 hour and 30. 1 hour and a half. Okay, last portion. C. Blah blah blah. Works in private Steam, income, blah blah, and then monthly spending budget as follows. Against 10% of total income as monthly fixed deposit to achieve your financial goals. Required to create a monthly personal financial plan. Okay, I'm not entirely. I will be honest. I'm not entirely sure what the question really wants. Let me just check the stream. I did limit cap this, so hopefully it's not too loud. Okay. Okay lah, we continue. It's okay. I mean like, yes. Okay, C. Part C, you're required to create money for yourself financial plan. I'm not sure what this question wants. I only know that the schema basically says you want to calculate how much this person has in the end. So you just take total income minus expenses. Yeah. So I do not know where the monthly personal financial plan part came from. I think some of you use the smart way of doing things, but apparently it's not necessary at all. So yeah, let's go through it. This is okay, HT4. Okay, continue. So yeah, I'll just make this quick because it's not very hard. Most of you got 6 marks full. Income, your monthly income is 3,500. Your monthly income is 3,500 plus her tuition, so it will be 950. You will get 4,450 from this. Okay. Per month, she puts 10% of her total income into monthly FD, fixed deposit. Fixed deposit is a type of tool where you put your money inside for a fixed amount of time. Fixed deposit is deposit so it is fixed amount of time that you can, where you accrue interest throughout the period, and you can only take out that much of money after that period ends. So the interest is very little. It's like 2 to 3% at most, but it's easy to use. You can start as little as 1 ringgit. Yeah, it's easy to use. You can just put it in and not care about it. But the cons are very obvious as well. Yeah, interest is low. That money is basically locked, and you can't even use it. Yeah, that kind of thing. If you want to force saving, you can open a bank account and put the money inside where you are not able to touch it. Like I have like it's like having a bank account, but you don't apply for ATM card, so you can't take the money out from the ATM. So you don't have a debit card, so you can't use it, and you don't even enable internet banking. So the account is just there. The sole purpose for it is to just keep money. Yeah, then when you really need the money after all these years, you can just apply for the ATM card and just apply for, just enable internet banking and yeah, take it out. Okay, anyway, FD she put 10% inside, so her FD she put 10% of this, so it'll be 445. Therefore, her remaining after putting in the FD, remaining after putting in the money into the FD would be 4450 minus out 400 and 445. She will get 4005. Okay, next part, the expenses. So her expenses, you just take everything and add together. You don't really have to separate it between fixed and variable. I don't know why you are supposed to do so. I don't think you need to. Yeah, I don't think you need to. But if you are curious, housing loan is fixed. Okay, let's just separate it for purposes. I don't really know why you need to separate it when the question doesn't ask you to do so, and you don't really need to separate it. Yeah, you don't really need to separate it, because separating it does nothing. you still take the entire remaining, you still take your entire remaining amount and just minus it, so it makes no difference. Okay, expenses 1100. You just add everything together basically. So this is your car installment. Housing loan is fixed, car installment is fixed. Insurance premium you pay every month, so it's fixed. And then utility, I do not know why utility bill is regarded as variable, but groceries is fixed. It shouldn't be grocery variable. You don't buy the same amount of veg every month. It doesn't matter, just add everything together. Yada. Okay, I'll use this space anyway. Extend. Okay, plus 100 internet service, that's fixed. Special expenses, telephone bill. Depending on prepaid or postpaid. Prepaid is usually fixed. Postpaid is variable. Allowance actually depends. There's room to argue whether it's fixed or not. So that's why it doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter. Total add up you get 4,000. So which means at the end her income surplus, which is basically her remaining amount, is 4005 minus 4,000. So it actually only has 5 ringgit for herself. What is this? I don't know. Why is this? She only has 5 ringgit for herself. this is a very weird lifestyle to have. Like, if you look at it, right? If you look at the table, it doesn't even count the need for her to eat. I assume that's covered by the groceries, but so this person will need to make her meals to work like every day. But it's kind of sad if you think about it. But anyway, this is her lifestyle. Mark distribution. Calculating until FD gives you 2 marks. The expenses itself is 3 marks. Calculating income surplus is 1 mark for a total of 6 marks. Okay, last question, 17. Q17. Q17. Table 3 shows the premium rates under the motor tariff for motor policies insured in Peninsular Malaysia, Sabah and Sarawak. Blah 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 blah. Question says in Kuching and wants to buy a motor insurance policy. Also Kuching, you want to follow the Sabah and Sarawak portion. Okay, next. What's about motor insurance policy? The following is information regarding vehicle insurance. Time insured 58,000, age of vehicle 6 years. Age doesn't matter. Only age doesn't matter, everything else matters. Engine capacity 1590 and CD 30%. Okay, gross premium for following vehicle under comprehensive third-party fire and theft. Okay, comprehensive third-party fire and theft, and you don't need third-party because the question doesn't ask you to do so. You only need third-party fire and theft. Okay, so let's go through this a little bit. Part A lah, there's no 1 for this. It's part A. Okay, so how do you do this? Okay, so how do you do this? To calculate the comprehensive. Okay, so first we want to look at which value we are using. For some, he lives in Kuching. This person lives in Kuching, so Sabah and Sarawak. You want to buy a comprehensive policy, so you look at the third column. And the engine capacity is not exceeding 1650 because it's 1590. So we look at the second row. So for your comprehensive policy, comprehensive policy, colon, your basic premium in this case would be the number given in the table, which should be 220. Okay, then the remaining portion is okay. So this one is for the first 1,000, the basic premium. This one is for your first 1,000 ringgit. So the remaining, you take 58,000, you minus 1,000, you get 57,000. Then then your remaining premium to be calculated would be 26,820, will be a value for each 10,000, for each 1,000. Since it's Sabah and Sarawak, the value will be 20.20 ringgit 30 cent, 20.3. You can look at the question, it's written over there already. So it writes, for commitment policy, the rate is for the first 1,000 of sum insured, and then 20.3 for each 1,000 on value exceeding the first 1,000 for Sabah and Sarawak. Peninsular, it will be 26. Do they have to memorize this? It will be given in the question, definitely. So you want to take 57 multiplied by 20.3. So this one you would get the number to be, let me get my calculator. Your number will be 57 times 20.3. You'll get 11. You get RM 1157.10. Okay, for 1.57 10 cents. So your total premium to be charged, in this case is these two numbers, you add up together, so you get it to be 1377.10 per IM. Okay, but we still have our NCD. NCD refers to no claim discount, means if after you bought the insurance throughout the entire year you did not claim it, then you would enjoy a discount of your premium. So in this case your NCD is 30%, therefore your NCD is 30%, therefore the premium to pay, so payable premium in this case, it would be your 1377.10. You multiply by the remaining portion, that would be 70%. So you would get this to be 1377.10. You multiply by 70%. So you will get your number to be 963.97. So this will be the premium payable for comprehensive policy. Okay. For your third party fire and theft, I'll just put it here. For your, I'll use a different color. For your third party fire and theft, you do not need to use a table. You want to use the premium. You want to use the payable premium gotten from your comprehensive policy to calculate the premium needed for third party fire and theft. Okay. So in this case, your basic premium would be the payable premium for comprehensive, and then you also have an NCD of 30%. Therefore, your payable premium in this case is this number multiplied by the remaining portion, which is 70%. So this number, you should get it to be 674.78. You should get 779 round up to 2 digits because it's money. Wait. Oh no, never mind. It's actually, sorry. You want to use the not the one after the NCD. Sorry. I just realized. No, disregard this. Go away. Your basic premium is the total premium of your comprehensive before your NCD. So your basic premium for your third party fire and theft would not be the 963 but the 1337.10. Okay, so in this case you want to use this thing and multiply 75% to get the basic premium for your third party fire and theft. So this one you multiply by 75%. So you get 1032.83. Okay, then you want to take this thing and have this is your basic premium. Then for this is the one that will enjoy NCD. So you also have your NCD, which is 30%. Therefore, at the end, your payable premium is this thing multiply 70%. So you will get 1032.83. 1032.8 1032.83 multiply 70%, you will get it to be 722.98. Yeah. Okay, so this is that. Then this will be A done. Okay, part B. Okay, actually produce two types of electric components P and Q by using machine. In a day, the machine produces X electronic P and Y, XP and YQ. Time required to produce P and Q are 8 minutes and 6 minutes respectively. Production components is based on the following constraints. The total number of components produced must be at least 50 units a day. Machine operates maximum 16 hours. Ratio Q to P is at most 2 to 1. Okay, so you want to construct your inequalities. Okay, so in this case, we know that the amount of P produced would be 8 times X. Okay, the amount of Q produced would be 6 minutes times Y. So yeah, 6 times 6Y. Okay, so this is in minutes. So the normal amount produced must be at least 50 units a day. So your X plus your Y, so your first inequality, your X plus your Y must be greater than or equal to 50. Okay, so this is your 1. Your 2 says that machine operates at maximum is 16 hours a day. So no. Time used is more like the amount of P is X, more Q is Y. So P uses 8 minutes per, so it will be 8 times X. If you call it will be 8 times X. Okay. It will be 8 times X plus your 6 minutes per Y. This should be maximum, so it will be less than or equal to 16 hours. This is your 8 and 16 minutes, so 16 hours times 60 minutes will be 960 minutes. Then this will be your part 2. Your part 3, the ratio of number of components Q to number of components P is at most 2 to 1. So in this case, your Y must be your Y to X must be equal to 2 to 1. So if you swap it and change it to a fraction, you will get Y equals to 2X. So at most 2 to 1 means that this should be at most 2 to 1. So that means your Y cannot exceed 2x. So it will be at most, so you get a less than or equal to sign over here. Okay. So after writing out 3 inequalities, you want to construct the graph. Okay. Using a scale of 2 cm to 20 components. Okay. When your x is 0, your y is 50. When your y is 0, your x is 50. Okay. When x is 0, your y is bringing over to the right, you will get 160. When your y is 0, you bring it to the right, you will get 120. Okay. This one, x, y. When your x is 0, y is 0. When your x is let's say 50, then your y is 100. Okay, so these are the points you have. Then you just plot. Okay. Okay, so let's speed on this. I don't have much time left. Your y is over here. Okay, we need at least like 160 for our y, so you can assume like, let's say this is 200 lah. No, this is like let's put it 160 over here. So 140, 120. It says 2 to 20 components, so I'm actually running out of time. Let's quickly finish this. Then for x, at most you have until 120. So okay, then you take the line and draw. Oh, what? Yeah. Okay, let's quickly finish this. Okay, so draw a line. Wait lah. Okay, back to schedule. Okay, let's quickly finish this. Okay, first line, x plus y is greater than or equal to 50. So both of them will touch to 50-50 line. So according to this, x is 0, y is 50. And then y is 0, x is 50. Y is 0, x is 50. So somewhere around here. Okay. Then when second line, x is 0, y is 160. So 160. And then when y is 0, x is 120. So here. Next, when x is 0, y is 0, y is equal to 2x, this one. So x is 0, y is 0, x is 50, y is 100. So when x is 50, y is 100. So about here. Then you can just extend. I put it at 80 to 160. To here. Okay, you want to find the shaded region. Okay. So xy greater than 50, you want to transform it a little bit. You want to make y the subject. So you don't have to. Okay, you don't have to. In this case, x plus y is greater than 50. So greater than means it's to the top. So we know that. Let me use the layer. So x plus y is greater than 50, which should be this first line. This is our first line. Oops. This is our first line. So we know that it will be this portion over here. Okay. Then second line, ax plus 6y is less than 60. We know that this is our line 2. It will be less than. So we basically erase out this portion. Okay. So it's constrained between these two things. These two lines. That will be the most logical sense. Then y is greater than 2x. It will be this line 3 over here. So y is greater than 2x. Greater than means it's at the top. So it's at the top means that we can ignore the bottom. So we can just erase this portion out. Therefore, the region that satisfies all conditions will be this one over here. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so it will be the region at the top. Wait, what? Oh, wait. Oops. Y is at most. Okay, never mind. No wonder. Take a look at the equality tree. It's supposed to be y is 2, q is at most 2 to 1, so y cannot be more than x. Y cannot be more than 2x, so it's actually less than or equal to. Okay, so it's actually the region at the bottom. Sorry for that. Yeah, so it's actually the region at the bottom, not the top, because it's actually less than. Y is at most at 2x. Different color. So it's actually this portion over here. Okay, save. Okay, let's finish this quickly. So lastly, we have that using a graph, determine the maximum number of components of P produced if 40 components Q are produced. So Q in this case will be your Y. So this is effectively your Q, and this is effectively your P. So 40 of Q is produced. So we start from 40, we draw a dotted line. Okay. We draw a dotted line from here all the way until we reach the edge of the region, which is here. Then we draw down directly. Okay, so you should get 90. You should be able to get 90 if you do this directly like that. Yeah, so you should be able to get 90, which should be this point over here. Okay, so this is part C1. So for part C1, just write 90. Okay, part C2, find the maximum profit in RM that can be obtained if the profit of components P and Q are 20 and 25 respectively. Okay, so in this case, we want to look at the maximum numbers of both components that can be produced. So you want to look at that. You want to look at this point directly, actually. Yeah. Yeah. So you want to look at this point directly. So this point, basically, because this point is actually the maximum of the entire region. This is actually the maximum of the maximum number where both components can be together. The maximum number that of both components. Yeah. So in this case, the maximum number that we have with this point over here corresponds to 96 over here. Corresponds to 96 over here, and 48 at the bottom. So we have it's 90. We have 48 of P, which is X, plus 96 of Y. This is the maximum that we can get that's within the region. So for the maximum, you just take the topmost point, the highest point of the entire region, which should be this point over here. Okay. So just plug in your numbers. 48 times your profit in this case is 20 plus 96 times 25. Just calculate it out. You should be able to get RM 3360. Okay, so this will be that, and therefore that will be the answer. Okay, so this is the end of the paper, and therefore this also marks the end of the entire paper finally finished. Okay, thanks for if you're watching this video until the end, thanks for staying to the end, and wish you good luck for upcoming trials and SPM as well. Okay, and I will see you in the next one.